And now, words of wisdom with Adam Carricker.
Do headphones just tie themselves in knots when you're not looking?
And with that, we welcome you back to Fourth and Pain, the only pro wrestling show to be hosted by an NFL player, the weight loss champion Redskins defensive end Adam Carricker.
Gia.
Former wrestling announcer and weight loss champion Chuck Carroll here. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Fourth and Pain and join us each and every weekday, high noon Eastern, fourthandpain.com. Fresh content. And as always, Adam, that content, low calorie, high energy.
And I can't figure out, are we mediocre? Are we great? Or do we suck? What are we?
We're somewhere in the middle of all of it. Just a step above mediocrity and a step below greatness. So,
But we're working towards greatness, right?
we're damn
We're
average.
going to be there like a week.
Well, yeah, damn average now, damn great in a week. Hi there. Joining us on the hotline, our favorite official and yours from Impact Wrestling, Mr. Brian Hebner. Brian, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. Now, listen, as a man also in the entertainment business, would you describe the show as mediocre, below average, or the greatest thing ever?
Remember, I determined whether you get those sweet tickets next year or not.
That's right.
Well, I was just sitting here listening, and I was actually very, very entertained. So I'm going with the greatest thing ever.
I like the way this man operates.
I don't know if he's telling the truth, but I feel like he is.
I'll take it.
We'll
I
take
like
it.
being lied to.
So do I.
Lots to discuss. Man, just a whole heap going on the TNA front. You guys are getting ready to go out on the road, leaving the friendly confines of the Impact Zone behind. Brian, tell me, what is the pulse of the company? Are you guys excited? You apprehensive? What's going on?
Basically, man, to be honest with you, I think most of the guys, including myself, are very excited, man, to get out of the impact zone. It's a better way of telling a story when there's people that are actually paying to see what they came to see or not to see, and it just makes things a lot different. I want to give you like a little example that I thought about just the other day. I got a lot of people talking about the girls matches that were there was just one girls match that was at the pay-per-view lockdown in San Antonio, and they were just putting it over as what a great match it was. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, and I actually watched it back, and that match is no better than what the girls normally do on a normal basis. They always work hard, put the good matches together. The difference was the crowd was really into it. And it just makes a big difference when you're not in a sound stage as opposed to an arena that's got noise and people that are invested their time and money into what they're watching. And I think that's a prime example of why everybody's so excited to take this thing out and get it in some big arenas and see what we have.
Absolutely. And simplicity says, as opposed to just giving away the tickets, and you would get that same crowd in the impact zone largely show after show after show is the same familiar faces. But you go out on the road, and like you said, Brian, you're going to be drawing people that genuinely have an interest in your product because they're paying to be there. So that's very exciting. And you know what? Without risk, there is no reward. So frankly, I see nothing but an upside for Impact Wrestling.
I agree. When you're watching any sporting event, whether it be a football game, basketball game, wrestling, when the crowd is into it, it makes it that much more exciting to watch. I'm actually not a fan of all these neutral site games. I like to see a team with home field advantage because that crowd gets into it. A lot of the neutral site games, the crowd aren't as quite into it, so it's not as much fun to watch for me anyways.
Now,
I agree.
big to do also in TNA, the unveiling, the leader of Aces and Eights, Bully Ray. I mean, this is a hot angle for you guys. How long are you going to ride the Aces and Eights wave?
Dude, I have no idea, man. I've never seen anything like this for a long time as far as the amount of heat and hatred that happened in San Antonio at the pay-per-view. It was steamy, man. I was actually really scared to go out there and get Jeff Hardy to safety because as I walked out there, that's when things were being thrown into the ring. And for those of you out there who hadn't seen the footage from it, when I say launching things to the ring, I'm talking about full beers, half beers, popcorn, plastic cups. I'm talking about anything and everything, change, money. They didn't throw enough of that, or obviously I'd been on the floor scrambling. But
Make it rain, San Antonio.
yeah. But I mean, it was awesome, man. I mean, it was something I really had not seen, man, except in the early '90s or felt, and I felt a couple of those before. And it's not often, and I can tell you this is one of those ones that was not often. So I don't know how long they'll ride it, but I don't blame them if they ride it for as long as it'll ride.
Adam, your take on Bully Ray at the top.
I love him as the heel. He's one of my favorite heels ever to watch. It's because he does such a good job of bullying everybody. I mean, he's bullied the refs before the match ever starts. When I went to the Impact Zone and you took me backstage last year, I remember he was out there and he was like picking on your dad before the match, and I thought it was just great to watch. I think he is 10 times better as a heel than he is as a babyface, and I love the fact that he is. I actually thought it might have been Jeff Jarrett, the former founder of the company, as the president, but I like the fact that he's the guy leading Aces and Eights, married to Brooke. Maybe Brooke turns heel against her dad. We'll see how that plays out. But I'm curious to get your take on D'Lo Brown, a guy who hasn't wrestled in a long time. What's your take on D'Lo Brown getting involved back in the ring, perhaps again, and being part of Aces and Eights, Brian?
It really shocked me. I was a big supporter of D'Lo. I don't know. I'm kind of floored by it, and I don't know. I'm happy, and I'm kind of sad in a couple ways. I'm sad that he chose that side to go to. I'm happy because I get to watch him work again. I don't think once you're as good as somebody as D'Lo was, you're going to lose that. Of course, with age always comes a little more weight, things like that. But I don't think that that's going to stop the way he can work. So, I mean, I've got different emotions going on with that.
We're speaking with TNA Impact Wrestling official Brian Hebner here on 4th and Payne. And Brian, I know that you're a big Redskins fan, so we're going to talk about the burgundy and gold in just a second. But I had one more question for you, wrestling related. And this is something that I guess I should have asked you in our first interview. As a kid, what did your dad, Earl Hebner, tell you about the Montreal incident? Did he kayfabe you? Did he keep you in the dark? Or did he come home and say, hey, Daddy had to do what was right for business?
Well, no, he of course he can't lie to me because I can see through it. And he's a horrible liar. He told me, man, he didn't know anything about it until he got ready to go out there. And I know I have to believe what he said. I mean, he definitely did not know what was going to transpire. I mean, I knew he knew some fishy stuff was going on throughout the day, but there was no way that he knew about it. And he was jerked to the side and told what his job was going to be and go out there and do it. Don't be, I'm not going to say on your show, but don't be weak and get this thing done. And that's the truth.
Was what was right for business at the time, and you can't argue with the person going out there and doing their job.
Yeah, business is business. I do have one more wrestling question because I can't help but notice the similarities and the comparisons from NWO and Aces and Eights. It just seems to be very similar to me. Guys are turning, guys are joining Aces and Eights, much like they would join NWO, the whole coming in and taking over deal. Am I wrong in seeing a lot of these comparisons? How do you see this, Brian?
Well, I mean, I think every group that you find in wrestling, and this is just my opinion now, every group that you find in wrestling, whether it be in WWE or whether it be in Ring of Honor or whether it be with us, there's always going to be a comparison to them because there's not but so much you can really do differently to not be compared. I think this is on a different scale as far as the type of group. I think they've got their group, what they've got, Aces and Eights. I don't know because they've thrown surprises at me too, but I think the group is the group now, I'm thinking. So I mean, yes, you're fair to say that. I just think it's hard to not compare it. I mean, just like the Shield or something they've got up in WWE.
Sure.
That to me is very similar. It's just on a smaller scale. And who knows? That can get bigger and have secrets and surprises behind it too. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was a good angle in wrestling, and then it's hard to be different when there's only a couple ways you can do it different.
Adam, I'm still waiting for you to unveil yourself as the last member of Aces and Eights. I think that is the last step in your rehab process for some reason.
It's funny, when I first got hurt way back in September, I text D'Lo Brown, hey, is it cool if I come down and hang out at the Impact Zone a little bit, maybe do a couple of matches, just kidding around, just joking. And he goes, that would be great. I go, if this happens, I want to be a member of Aces and Eights. And I think he thought I was serious, so I had to let him in and know that I was joking. And hey, don't be surprised one day if a mask comes off and my pretty little face is right behind it.
Dude, I'm all over that. TNA official Brian Hebner on the line. And Brian, you are a noted Redskins fanatic. You went to a number of games this past season. And so now we get your pulse. We check in on you. How do you think the team's doing in free agency? Is it the right move to go out and get this core group of guys back under the belt, or should they be making a whole lot of wholesale changes and flying Redskin one here, there, and everywhere and just basically doing a major roster overhaul?
I'm happy where they're at right now. I mean, I think there's always things you can pick up and add. To me, they picked up, two of the most important pieces, which is, of course, Mr. Carricker, and kept him around. I heard, Moss, Santana, he's sticking around. Golston's sticking around. I'm happy where they're at. I mean, I'd have loved to have had a Percy Harvin show up. I'm not going to lie about that. And I'm also glad to see a D'Angelo Hall bye-bye gone.
Wow.
Not a D Hall fan. Why is that?
I've seen him lose too many games for us against the Cowboys, and there's no other game that you want to do that to me other than that one.
Was it more about his on-field play, or perhaps the way he would speak out, where most players are a little bit more concealed? Like, I'm much more concealed in the media than he is. You get on my show, I'm a little different. But he speaks his mind in the media. Did that play into it a little bit for you?
To me, it's the discipline along with the play. I mean, you don't get there and do a pregame. And it's just me, guys, and I'm not expecting you to agree with me. But to me, you don't get on media and you say the Cowboys are nothing. They don't do this, do that, do that. Des Bryant is not the receiver that everybody thinks he is. I mean, and then gets burnt on a 4th and 19 to continue the game and have the Cowboys beat you. I don't want that stuff on my team. Get out of here,
dude. If you could only have seen Adam's face just now, he literally almost rolled right out of his chair. He doesn't want to think about that.
I remember that play, and the play call still lives in infamy in our locker room. But anyway, no, that is just a bad memory I didn't need to have brought up in my memory bank.
Wow, but I'll tell you,
it'll never go away in my memory bank, man. That's what I'm saying. I mean, he can. I mean, I don't know, man. He reminded me of a Rex Grossman who would throw 8 touchdowns in one game and then the next game throw 20 interceptions. I mean, it was just one of those deals, and I don't know, man.
It's a lot of interceptions.
Just be gone. Give me some consistency.
I'll tell you this much, dude. You ask a question like that, you follow up with the D-Hall question like you did. I am never, ever, ever asking softball questions on this show again. If you're asking the serious questions about former teammates like that, what specifically about him didn't you like? Where did he F up? I'm going to hit hard on this show.
Hold on. I didn't say where did he F up. He said he's not a fan of him. He was glad to see him gone. I just want to know why. D. Hall is one of my favorite guys because I love the fact that he spoke out. I love the fact that he'll do what I won't do because he's willing to put himself out there like that. And, if you get burnt, people are going to hate you for it. And if you play well, people are going to love you for it. So I'm not expressing anything in my opinion. I'm just asking Mr. Hebner's.
Well, Adam, can I ask you a question, Adam, real quick?
Go right ahead.
Okay. If you were to have a sack on you and actually talk some mess before pregame about the team you're playing, if you were to allow a touchdown on your side, or you can give me the scenario of what would be characterized as you costing the game, would you or would you not have the same sack to answer your questions of the fans and say, hey, I screwed up. Yes, I said this. I did not do that, and now I'm going to take it back, and I'm going to make it right next week? Or would you just act like you didn't say it?
Well, if I did that, I mean, you got to own up to it. And I think D. Hall always owned up to it. I mean, he never hid from it. I will give him credit for that. He would say what was on his mind, and then if something didn't go right, he would own up to it. And you'd have to own up to it if that's what happened. Me, I will talk trash, but I'm going to do it on the field, and I'm going to do it to the guy across the line of scrimmage, and I'm going to do it when there's no microphones around. That's how I like to do it, unless you come on my show, and then we can go back and forth.
Right, I got you.
All right, with that, we are fresh out of time. Brian Hebner, give him a follow on Twitter. You still at Baby Hebner?
I am, man. Still at Baby Hebner. Yep.
Give him a follow, a worthwhile follow indeed. If you are a wrestling fan or a Redskins fan, this man is your man. Follow him on Twitter. Brian, thanks so much for your time.
Appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thank you guys very much, man. Go Redskins.
Thank you. Be sure to watch Brian each and every Thursday night on Impact Wrestling. But for now, this is Fourth and Pain. We'll be right back.